Hello, everybody. Welcome to my weird, wonderful world. And the topic for this episode, of course, you see the thumbnail, is I want to revisit and a revised look at the good and the bad and the good packaging of CDs. As a music collector and a music lover, I love my CDs. I love collecting CDs, and I will make the room for them. If I have to. My wish would be have a wall and back, like like a room big enough that a wall dedicated with shelving units to a proper height that can handle more than just the standard size CD case, but something that's going to look cool, and I can put all my CDs in alphabetical order and everything. The idea was coming to revisit this topic because I did talk about it like over over 8 months ago. It was November 21st of 2024 last year that I made a video. I'll leave that video at the end here. But you'll see I'm really updating it and really want to show you some basically the bad and the good of my CD cases. I have some examples. When I got to these, I was doing these today, and I got to these. It's like, oh yeah, okay, I am definitely making this video because this kind of always bums me out. And I'll give you another example here too of some bad designs. But of course, I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between them. I do want to give you some good designs too. Like, okay, now I'm going to show you the ideal design, right? For Or should I save that for a little bit later? No, I'm going to show you what really prompted this episode, this video. Is these right here for the KMFDM? Okay, they are in their standard. Not this one here in particular, because these are double disc. Okay, they hold two CDs in here. Okay, and the normal cases you get are the jewel cases. Like at least 80 to 85% of my CDs are in this format of just a regular jewel case. You open it up, the CD's there. You got a book here that sometimes has lyrics and sometimes it doesn't. You know, and that was the standard for so long. CD holders and cases and that were pretty much designed for that. But for some reason, and I'll get to that when I get to that. For some reason, record companies decide to try to reinvent the wheel and change the design. Sometimes good results, sometimes were nasty results. And one of my biggest grievances, okay, I'll get to it now, is these KMFDMs. I have three. They come in 3 volumes, and they're 2 CDs each. And what bugs me about them is they designed the double packaging. Okay, before I give you before I show you what those designs are, okay, let me show you some examples of good packaging. Okay, this design, this jewel case, that the ones with the picture on the spine, okay, this has 2 CDs in it, right? But when I open it, okay, it opens up like this way, and then it opens up this way, okay? And it's pretty sturdy enough. I can get to it pretty relatively easy. This is a beautiful design. Okay, I have no problem with this design. Another example is my Bobby V, right? It's exactly the same principle. It opens up this way. It opens up this way. It works pretty darn well. Okay. There's other ways that people can do it. I necessarily don't really prefer this format. I prefer these format for double CDs. Okay. There's also this here, but it's wider, and you need to have it. You wouldn't be able to put it in order with your other CDs because it deserves extra space, and some racks, some CD cases like this one here and that one over there has a special rows on either on the top or the bottom where you can add the double CDs. which, is okay, but it would be preferable that I could fit the double CDs in with the rest of them. Hello, these work well. I got my Pink Floyd there. I got my I got the Joe's Garage. I got this. But look at this. Okay, and it's a double case, but this has four. There's four discs in there. Rather than just and it works great. They're all in the perfect spot. Yep. So I can't complain with that. That's pretty safe. This is a double one, but unlike those sets, it's a cardboard thing with two CDs in it. I'm just trying to go through this fast. This has four CDs in it, and it's one of these kind of cases, right? But it's jewel cases. They're kind of jewel cases, but they fold out like that. Look at that, four in one. Okay, and when you're, and this is such of a design that I like this design that when you're putting it in your case, in your CD case, if you don't want to put it with your double slots, you can stick each one of these into your single slots, and it will fit. If you're inclined to do so. I have a couple that's like that, so that works great, and that's four. That's four discs. So that's a brilliant piece of design. The Beatles, okay, this is a 2-disc set, right? It opens up like that with the booklet right there, and then you have your two CDs in there, nice, well protected within each other. Each one is protected by a fold. That's two CDs. And it fits perfectly into your slots. That's ideal. But let's get back to the KMFDM. For some reason, these KMFDMs, okay, these were one of the flimsiest ideas. I was like, they were so brittle the first time I opened up all three of these, okay, when I opened them up, and I got to be careful with them. They open up they open up like a book, like this way, okay, with the connectors in the middle, and the connectors were so brittle. And this is the volume 2, disc 1. But look, it comes all apart. The connectors, both connectors have broken off on both sides here, so it all comes out. And the things in the middle, they don't grip. They don't really grip the CD very well. There is such a weak grip on CD that they want to flop out. I'll try to show you a little bit on volume 1 here. Okay, volume 2 is volume 3 is exactly the same. Both connectors are kind of off. This one here, there is a little bit of a connector. Okay, but it's kind of in there a little bit, right? See, you can sort of see it in there, but it's such a weak design. I can actually pull that thing out, but that's the only one that's kind of connected. But it can come off and pull apart, and I don't like it. I don't like it. It's so weak and so brittle. Yeah, that just it kind of bugs me and upsets me. Let's move those over. I don't need to talk about those again. I'll talk about this. Also, for like multiple CDs, for like they tried to put 3 discs in this, which size wise is perfect. It fits in there perfect. I don't like the way that the spine here wrinkled up on it. It was just the design wasn't solid enough. And I already talked about this on my last video 8 months ago or so, that when the very first time I opened it up to play it, okay, there's it's on this side. This disc here, when I went to go and try to open it, because it's so narrow and so hard to get in, it ripped the top of it, and I had to use some tape to try to tape it together. You can kind of see it there. And yeah, I was kind of the very first time opening it up to try to get that CD out. It was kind of stuck in there, and they've tried to get your fingers in there. It's like, what do I like? No, you bad design, bad design. They kind of with I didn't bring it, but with the past tense, they kind of updated that design a little bit better. It does work a little bit better, but yeah, this is also a decent idea. It kind of it works. 2 CDs right there, and it fits these in it. That's a little thicker than I would like. It doesn't really fit in. That's the problem with this. I love it. There's 2 discs, but they could have made it thinner, and they still could have kept the 2 discs easily in there. And like like others, like where's the other one that there is you can have 2 discs and be a little bit thinner than that with some of the others. But I do love it. I do love it. I do love that it's remastered and everything and that bonus stuff. Okay, let's kind of plow through this. Some designs, and I'll go through this as quick as I can. I really don't want to try to make this over 20 minutes. I'll try to make short. We'll go a little faster. Designs I don't like. Okay, again, I love that I have the new Franz Ferdinand, but again, look at the height. Look at the height difference on it. Okay, the Franz Ferdinand, that height difference. Yeah, that height difference right there. I got the bottom flushed, okay, but it's that top part. It doesn't want to fit in your standard case. I can't put it in a standard case. I have to put it separate. And that again, and why I have this one out, except for the spine not being what I wanted for the, I do actually love these kind of digicases with the old fashioned jewel case, but it folds. You see again, like with the Beatles, and speaking of Beatles, like with the Beatles, this is pretty decent. I don't mind it sliding in like that. Again, I do sort of prefer the jewel case part of it, like Like with that, I do prefer if you click it in, and you don't want it to be. You just want it to be just the right. Perfect. It's not too hard. I can just press in the middle a little bit, and it pops up. That's what you want. You want to have it that all you got to do is just give it a light push in the middle, and it pops up a little bit, and it pops on, and that's ideal. That's ideal. It has a perfect packaging. Again, designs of bad packaging. I love it. It looks like it's supposed to look like one of those pamphlets you find in in an airplane for safety tips and stuff, right? The CD is right here. Define the names of the names of the songs that's on the inside here. So it's nowhere on the outside cover. You can't see what the name of the songs are. It's only when you open it up open it up that you find it right here, and it's like, oh, okay. But yeah, I still love it. I still love the design and everything, but it's not an ideal practical. It's too high. It doesn't it's too wide, too high. It doesn't fit anywhere. I can't fit it in with the other ones. It kind of bothers me, and I'll leave it at that. But you know what I really kind of love, I love this packaging. I love this packaging from Tom Waits. When I got this in the mail, when I got this from Amazon when I ordered it, when I saw that, it's like, and then there's no booklet to pull out. All the lyrics are right there it's a book itself. They make it a book itself, which is always fantastic when they can do that, especially on the scale of a CD, and it fits perfectly in any CD slot. The CD is right. It's where is that? Oh, it's on the other side, in the front. A CD is right there in that sleeve, and they give you just enough leeway that I'm not I'm not wrecking the top and the bottom. I can get it out fairly easy enough. They gave you enough of a slot that I can just very easily pull that out gently. You know, I love the accessibility of the lyrics that they're right there. They kind of did the same thing with this ACDC here. You got the CD there, and then there's a cool little DVD at the back here. Of videos which I still haven't watched yet. Gosh, I gotta get to that. And yeah, and again, it's a book. It's a book of pictures and liner notes and what you need. It's a great design idea, and it still fits. It still fits in your. It can still fit that normally in the CD in a CD holder and that. I get it in my box because it's a complete set, near complete. Just one CD, left to go. Um, Now this is just on the edge. Like when you're going to be making an outside cover for your jewel case, okay? Like some people do, like with this Ramones, debut album. I got one that has a nice little cover for it, and I do have quite a few, more than enough of these that have an outside cover. I still think, like for me, I still was happy because I don't really like outside covers. But Tool made a cover that really hugs the jewel case perfectly well and fits. And the way they have it put, it when you put it in, the opening for that cover is on the bottom and the top. Instead of here, they have it on the sides. And when you're putting it into your CD case, it fits. It fits. So I can't really. It's a little snug, but I can't really complain. But this fits perfect right in there. Um, Another thing for multiple. Metallica has some that has like 3 CDs. I have the remasters with the 3 disc of the Black Album and Justice for All. But I also have this that has the 3 disc. Still not a bad packaging design. For 3 discs. I mean, it's a little wide, so you have to be able to fit it in a special slot. Now, let's go back to another really horrible, horrible, bad design for a CD case. Let's look at this. I just took, and again, this has an outer cover. Again, is a little big for to fit into a normal CD case. Kind of, it is tight, so that's why I'm happy to have it separate in the box with the rest of the collection. But to be able to get to the CD, you open that, okay, you open that, then you open that, and then you got no real place for those liner notes, so they're just kind of flopping around willy nilly in there before you get to the jewel case in the middle. I really don't like this design. It kind of upset me the first time I saw it. I was like, "Are you kidding me? That's what the design is?" And then there's Kirk is yeah, and then there's Lars is yeah, and then the John is but yeah. If you've seen that TikTok video or whatever, or that little short for that, you know what I'm talking about. It's funny. It's not true, of course, but it is kind of funny. But it's a little snug getting in there. But yeah, it's interesting. I like to have James' faces poking through. That's kind of the way it's supposed to be. But yeah, almost done. I have a couple more things here to talk about. Yeah, I know. Again, I'm making it longer than I wanted to make it. You know me. I can't help myself. There's never promises on length and that. But I still remember the first time because Tool was being consistent. They came out with Lateralis, and it still fits in the case. But when I first saw that, I'm like, "Oh, are you kidding me? I have to put it. It still kind of fits in your regular case. It's a little just a little thick, but just right on the verge of not being too thick. But but again, you don't have any of the spine of what it says. It's on the weird side. It's on the length side, and it opens up like this. I was a little, but of course, the trade off where you can forgive them for their design, that it doesn't fit, is that I have now a cool 3D view. I can look at these pictures in 3D. Awesome, awesome. Um, with this, okay, these little box sets. This one here is just a little thick, okay, when they made it. But luckily, when they did the next one for Joe Satriani, they made it a little thinner, so it does actually fit a little bit better. So as long as you're trying to improve, you know. But yeah, this is a little thick. I have to put them separate. I can't put them in like a regular slot with the. This works actually a lot better. With this, I love the condition, how beautiful and brand new it is, but it is a decent size. It will actually fit in a normal slot. So pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Then you get a little box set. This has 4 discs in it, and these little sleeves in each one. There's a nice book on the top. I have a 7 set for my Rush albums, from a certain time period. But this is okay. Again, it's very wide. It's very tall. It's so much taller than your average. Than your this. This is the perfect size. Look how much taller that is. Just that much of a difference. Okay, a quarter of an inch is too much. It won't fit anywhere. So it has to go separately on a shelf. I always thought, okay, the first time I seen this format for a CD, I always thought that this probably should have been, from the very beginning, instead of having that jewel case, this probably should have been this is what I would have expected to be the norm for a CD. Having a CD that's the exact same as the LP, except for that little part, exactly the same as the LP, even with the look of the CD itself, and this is the only set I have. This one and Solitude Standing by Suzanne Vega. That's black. That's a black CD. I don't have any other CD that's black like that except for this one. But I don't know. I have a certain fondness for these packaging, and these are still the best sounding albums I own, hands down. No matter what. So I love it. I love it dearly. But again, the packaging could have, again, it's a little wider than it's so that you can fit that sleeve in there properly. But it is, again, when you're talking about size ratio, look at that. Whoa, look at that. Look how much higher that is. That's the perfect gauge, because that's the perfect width. You want to try to stick to that, as much as possible. But I do like these formats. And speaking of these formats, as I kind of showed you of what's inside here, but they're a little bit smaller sleeves. They fit better. Local bands are on here. And there's a couple of other examples, but I'll show you this. I don't mind this design. I think it's good because it's cost effective and it does save on the environment, definitely. But I like to use one of these on it. This is, of course, the Great Balancing Act, and their awesome album, Planet of Song. If you haven't checked it out yet, please do. But yeah, it's again, the size is negligible. It will fit in a regular slot, so that's not bad. It's a little thin. It doesn't have anything on the spine. It's so thin. This one by my awesome friends Francine McClure and Robert Cormier. This is a bit of a better design, I find. it has the titles and everything on the spine. There's just enough of a spine that has the words, which is beautiful. When you open it, the CD won't just completely fly out. It has a nice little pocket with a nice little cutout, so you can actually grab the CD without really, destroying your casing, which is fine. And the thing with these, if they're as long as they're the proper size, which these are, okay, these are the proper size. A little bit longer, maybe a little bit longer, though they don't stick into the slot a little too far. But I like that they're so thin that you can fit so many CDs in a spot, right, and not take a space. Like how much space this takes up. Okay, for example, this is super friggin' wide for just two CDs. For just two CDs, same thing. Same thing with these. For just two CDs, how wide that is, and how many of those you could fit in that same space. Just a little food for thought. That's what I'm talking about. Food for thought. And the last two things here I want to show you, coming back to Tool, my favorite band, is that when you're doing something completely outside the box and that you can't fit it in a small little format, and how much bigger your format had to get. And it was like it shocked me when I first saw how big this thing was. But then once I opened it up, and hopefully it's still going to be charged. Yep. So you have, it's beautiful. It comes with some beautiful box, and and the CDs, and there's the CD comes in this little nice little box, a little container for it. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It's still playing there. And then you got the book on the side here. That's maybe a little tight, but no, I can still get it out. It comes with you can charge it. It comes with the charger on the side here. It's in there, but there it is on the side. There you go. Charger's in there. So shut that down. And yeah, but then I had to go and buy it a second time, and again, a completely different packaging, but it's still nice to have it in that book form that I can just open it, up, and there's the CD right there, and then you get the 3D cards up here. It's just so that they can put the packaging on the 3D cards, and instead of taking out the booklet like I would have for this one, this is Fear Inoculum, the same album, but there it is all in, I can access the lyrics right there as a book, which is awesome. So that's my thoughts about packaging, okay? What really ultimately prompted me to do this today was when I was ripping the extras, and how all three of these, because of their flimsy design, they all broke immediately once I purchased them and tried to open them and play them. So as you can see, after that I didn't play them very much at all. Although I do love to get through that. There's some songs on there that I really do love. But now that I have them all three of these, all 6 CDs are now ripped onto this. I have better access to them. I can play those songs and put them in mixes and burn CDs and stuff. All right, I am done. I know it's long, 30 minutes. Me, I can't do things short. I knew I had so much here that I had to get through it all. All right, before it gets too long, I'm going to let you go, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. You see how much I love doing this, and even though I only wanted to spend 10 to 15 minutes top, I spend 30 minutes talking about a subject that is very near and dear to my heart. Is something that is a pet peeve of mine, and going through the bad and the good designs of a proper CD packaging. All right. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I will love you forever and greatly appreciate it. Don't be afraid to hit the like button. Please leave me comments. I will do my best to get to your comments. I'm not the best at it, but I love seeing them, and I will at least try to give you a channel heart and a thumbs up. And I don't see every comment like I want to, but I try. I try to get to everybody's comments. And all right, everybody, please be safe. Take care. I will see you on the flip side. And please, everybody, just have a great day, evening, morning, night, afternoon, wherever you may be. Peace, everybody.